Hello there, Facebook friends and Real Green customers, green industry friends. I'm Beth Berry. I'm the Vice President of Business Development for Real Green Software. We are based in Walled Lake, Michigan. I'm broadcasting live today from Indianapolis, Indiana. We have deployed all of our resources at home, Kyle. And today I have with me my good friend, Kyle Flanagan. Kyle was a former Scotts Lawn Service franchisee. Kyle was a former TruGreen franchisee, and he has now started his own business again now I started to say Athens, that's where you're from, Augusta, Georgia, home of the Masters. And Kyle, give us a little introduction on you, because you'll do it better than I will. I know you started with Charlie King a very long time ago. Tell us about your family and how you got into lawn care.
Yeah, so I like a lot of people probably stumbled into it. So I got a back when I moved to Athens back in the day, when you still looked for a job in the paper before Facebook existed, because I'm getting older now. I found a job I moved to Athens for school with about $1,600 I think in my bank account, and 400 was for the first month's rent. So I had to find a job real quick, and King Green, Charlie King and his team were running an ad in the local paper for a technician, which I had no clue what it was, but I think at the time it paid $11 an hour, and I was like, I'm gonna be rich. So I interviewed there and got on, and I went to Athens with all intentions of I was a political science pre-law major, and anyways, the rest is history. I met Charlie's bunch, and I just fell in love with I grew up in the green industry. My dad was a golf course superintendent, is retired now, so I grew up around it. I guess I was just destined for it anyway. So I ended up working for Charlie for several years, and great company to work for, and I just loved the industry and learned more and more about it, and eventually left to just go out on my own. Started a lawn care company in Athens, which eventually we sold, and I bought a Scotts franchise back probably, I want to say that was probably 12 years ago now. So we bought the Scotts franchise came available in Augusta. We bought that, continued to grow it, and then another one on the other side of our state over in Columbus came up for sale. It was an acquisition for us. It had been around for, I believe, 3 years at the time, and we just had an opportunity to go in there and buy that one out and grow it. And then everybody is familiar with the Scotts and TruGreen acquisition at this point. So when that happened, obviously we sold both of our Scotts franchises. We were able to, in the interim, pick up there was a small TruGreen and a small Scotts franchise down in southern Alabama that we were able to pick up. It didn't make sense, I believe, at the time for a corporate to run it. They wanted somebody to come in and build it up a little more before they came in, and it was a good opportunity for us because we had, as most of you know, a 3-year non-compete in our other markets, which we wanted to go back to eventually. So we were able to work out a good deal that worked out for both parties, I think, where we took our team to southern Alabama. We still kept all of our office staff and sales in Augusta. I stayed in Augusta. We had one of our people go down to manage that branch, and we just grew it over the course of those 3 years that we were sitting out of the Augusta market, and recently sold it back to TruGreen in October of this past year, and then the next day opened back up on November 1st in Augusta, which is where my team has always been headquartered and located, and we're just kind of excited to get back to this market now. So this is the first time that since my very beginning days, that we've operated under just our own brand, which is Lawn Ace. We started November 1st with 0 customers and 0 people knowing who we are, and we have tried to aggressively build it since. We've got a pretty aggressive goal for year 1. It's a goal that we have not done yet. We have not grown that much in a single year since I started in the industry, and I believe that we've got a phenomenal team that can hit it. So our big goal over the course of the last 3 years while we were sitting out of this market was to keep our core team together, my GM, my office manager, my sales manager, and we were able to do all of that. So we're starting a couple of my technicians that were with me in the other market were able to come here. Um, a couple of my long-term technicians that had gone over to work at TruGreen or other companies have since come back. So we have a lot of combined experience, and that was kind of our goal the whole time over these past few years. Let's try to hold on to experience so that when we go back into this market, we have the best shot at aggressive growth and really just helping people. You know, we're here, we're selling lawn care, obviously, but we're here to solve problems. We're here to kill bugs, mosquitoes. We're here to make your grass green. We're here to kill weeds. And you do that a whole lot better with good, experienced people that you work well with. So a lot of us have been working together for 7, 8, 9, a couple of us 12 years now. So it's been, we have some real, we kind of work well together. We jive well together. We know what the other one's thinking before they think it, kind of thing. So it's been good. So that's it in a nutshell.
Well, you've had the luxury of working with some big brands, so you became acquainted with some of their best practices. But you hit on the number one thing. We know this is a people business, and you better have good people that can serve people, or you're dead in the water. And of course, you use phenomenal tools with Real Green. We appreciate you as a customer.
100%, absolutely. I was actually thinking about it earlier today. Right after you and I got off the phone earlier, I was thinking about it. I said, man, how amazing is it that SA5 is completely rolled out now? Because could you imagine if something like this would have even happened 4 or 5 years ago, where we're you know, half of us weren't even on a hosted platform at that point. So I mean, to have I don't know if anybody could have seen this situation coming, but you know, obviously, you know, Joe and your team and, you know, saw ahead to the future and said, hey, you know, we've got to come up with something. And I mean, at this point, I couldn't imagine, I mean, half of our office folks are working from home at this point, and I couldn't imagine doing that. It's hard enough just dealing with the phone system, but at least one thing we didn't have to deal with was any software issue. It was we set up some VPNs and we're good to go. So.
Well, and I recall you telling me a story one time where you were speaking to maybe it was a loan officer or someone at a bank about opening a new location, and they challenged you with how would you have the leadership to manage this remotely, and you talked about the Real Green tools.
Again, 100%. It was a huge, that was actually a huge selling point to the bank, who they were kind of taking a chance on that, because while we had some proven results in one city, the city that we were all in, they said, well, how are you going to take this 4 hours away without being there? Because that is obviously the struggle for a lot of, you know, for a lot of companies. And also, and we didn't know how much it would be or wouldn't be, but when we got into it, it didn't, 4 hours or 4 minutes away, it wouldn't have mattered. The fact now, you know, keep in mind, we literally, I think, used every single service at that time that Real Green had, and I think that's key. I don't think you can pick and choose if you're doing something like that, but it was seamless. I mean, every day you'd go, you were almost just like waiting on a problem to happen, and it wouldn't happen. So it was really a really nice seamless process. So we wouldn't have been able to do it without the software and the systems that you guys have in place.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm glad we could be part of the solution. So you would have succeeded in my book in any industry, in any city, because you've got an entrepreneurial spirit and good people want to work for you. So your success is of no surprise to me. But I know in this period of COVID activity and potential longer term downstream economic consequences, the status quo and everything you and I have known our entire careers is being brought into question. And it's at a time when it's most critical. I call this Christmas Eve at Walmart, because when it's Christmas Eve at Walmart, you may have a great plan B, but you're not going to implement it on Christmas Eve at Walmart. But that's what we're having to do today. So I've really enjoyed listening to you tell me about your success with door to door gets a bad name, or canvassing, or clover leafing, or door hanging. But tell us about what you're doing in terms of deploying sales and technicians in the field that's been very successful in a period when others would say, oh, it's a bad time to be on a porch. So tell us about your latest campaign.
Yeah, and it's nothing special that we're doing. I don't think it's just it's no phenomenal idea or any genius idea. It's just something that we tried. I mean, this is a time where people are trying different things in different markets. They're going to have different are going to respond differently probably. For us, I like to share it because if it can help other people. I was sharing with you last time we talked on the phone how it kind of discourages me a little bit when I hear I've gotten so many calls over the past say 4 weeks or so from different lawn care operators around the country that just kind of like doom and gloom when this thing started, and now it's only it's only progressing. And I never really understood it because I think I think we have opportunity in everything, and that's not a feel good message. It's not. We have to be realistic. Or, if anything, I'm a pessimist by nature. I am not an optimist. So I wasn't the guy sitting there going, "Oh no, buddy, it's going to be okay." That's not it. It is going to be okay, but we got to look for the opportunity in things here. So yes, are things the way they were 6 months ago? 100% no. We are doing, we're trying stuff that we didn't think we'd be trying in April of 2020. There's things that we thought would work in April of 2020, 6 months ago that we planned for that aren't working. So I think if you're fluid and you can adjust to things, I think there's real opportunity here for people around the country, for lawn care people in particular. There's probably a lot of businesses, but we're talking lawn care and pest control, and I've got friends in both industries, and we're seeing excellent results right now. We're seeing excellent numbers. So again, that's where the whole I don't even fish, but yeah, somebody told me that they were like they say, yeah, you don't back out of the fishing hole when the fish are biting, and I'm like, no, you cast an extra rod in the water, right? So things like even our door to door has been better. And again, this is something I heard weeks ago. Oh, what are you going to do about? Are you still going to do door to door? People aren't going to want you. People aren't going to talk to you. You're right. People aren't going to talk to you. So we adjust a little bit. So if you're used to let's say knocking 100 doors a day, maybe you're doing what we're doing, and you're putting out 220 or 230 or 240 door hangers a day and not knocking. So we've had really good. That's just one example we've had really good success with. So we
Stop
switched.
for a minute. And as Michael Scott says, because my daughter who's home from IU has made me watch The Office 24/7. I never used to watch TV, but
I love it.
Michael Scott says, talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old. So walk back to exactly what you're doing systematically in terms of knock and walk, or what does that look like when a sales, or if it's a sales rep, what's he look like? Is he in a company truck? Or if it's a lawn technician, exactly how are you deploying that there?
Yeah. And by the way, I just signed up for virtual office trivia next week.
Nice.
So I'm a huge Office fan, and I've got my world's best boss mug back there, and I plan to win. So
I have that as well. Yeah.
nice. So yeah, so just logistically what we did, and we were really taking a shot in the dark. I had talked to multiple people about it. We sat down and talked to our marketing people about it. And there's always, especially in the beginning, there was this thought of, do we talk about COVID or not talk about it? Do we try to just like let people try to forget it? Are you bringing something to light that you don't want to bring to light, or do you just confront it head on? And I was of the mindset of, well, let's try to just avoid it as much as possible. And and again, it changes week to week. I think 4 weeks ago that might have been the right thing. We decided as of this week that we're actively talking about it. I mean, we put our COVID-19 procedures on our website, on our Facebook page this week. I didn't want to do that before. Again, everybody's got to make their own decision in their own market. We're also taking the temperature of the local market here, daily to see how it is right now. We might be different in Georgia than you are in Michigan, for example. I know we are. So what we did, just to be a little proactive, about 3 weeks ago, and 3 weeks ago here in Georgia or where we are, there was no concern, very little. People were living their normal lives. They were social distancing, and that was it. There wasn't a lot of fear, and we just kind of saw. But I was watching other areas of the country, seeing that it's coming. We said, well, maybe we start to shift the language a little bit. So I tried something just to see. So we had our door-to-door guys um, stop knocking, which I know, you tell people this and you're like, oh, how door-to-door doesn't work if you don't knock. I think it's true. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm not the best door-to-door guy in the country. I've had tons of struggles with it. Thankfully, I've got a great friend who I think is one of the best door-to-door people. I've learned a lot from him and tried to watch him over the years. And I know there's a lot of good ones out there. We don't by far do the best job of it. I think we have gotten better each year, and we were doing really well this year up to it. But we were just looking ahead, going, hey, how do we make people comfortable with door-to-door without canceling our door-to-door program, because it was accounting for a lot of sales. I mean, we were at 25 to 30% of our sales were coming from it. So we didn't want to give up on it. So what we did is about 3 weeks ago, stop knocking. We literally just said, hey, look, let's stop knocking. Obviously, we're not gonna have interpersonal communication with as many people, but we can get more door hangers out there. I'm also a big believer, and there's different schools of thought on it. I've always been a big believer on leaving pricing, because and again, it may vary. Maybe it doesn't work in your area. For us, it's huge, because I think people have this mentality, probably like my dad did growing up. Oh, spraying lawns, that's for rich people. We can't, that's not for us. And then people look at it and they go, oh, $48, $400 a year, and I don't have to touch my lawn. So we've always been big believers in that, but I think that's really helping now. So what we're doing is just literally hanging door hangers on doors. In fact, I've hired a couple more people. Here's a good opportunity. There are a lot of people home from college right now that I don't know, again, I don't know every state. In Georgia, they've shut down the schools through the end of the school year. So I had friends start reaching out to me going, hey, my son's home from college, do you have any work? And I'm like, heck yeah, I do. It's a whole lot of fun. You can come walk for 7 hours a day and hang door hangers, But it worked, and I'm getting people out there in the field. We're hanging more. It's a numbers game, so we're just hanging more and more hangers. And what we're finding is we're actually getting no less return. It's actually, over the past 3 weeks, it has been slightly better by about 10%, give or take, like averaged out amongst those weeks. So we're actually getting a little better return. Now, I don't think it's going to work long term. I think when things go back to quote normal, I don't think we can continue to do this. I think the reason it's working now is because, one, I think people like the fact that we're not knocking on that we're not asking them to come to the door, because we are knocking. I'll tell you in a minute. So I think people like that we're not asking them to come to the door. Some people don't mind, some do. It's just going to lead, to me, it's going to lead to complaints, bad reviews, stuff like that. And that's really why I stopped. I was kind of nervous about possibly getting a bad reputation. So we stopped doing that. So now, like, our procedures, we go up, we hang a door hanger, we knock, and we leave. We do leave pricing on it. So every one of our door hangers has a blank space in the middle after our text. And each one of my door-to-door people have a big red stamp, and it's got their name and cell phone number on it. And then, so they stamp that, and then next to it, they write, no contract, $52 per application. So that way we're leaving a price on the door. Also, a lot of door hangers that used to go in the trash, I don't think are going in the trash anymore, because people are so bored. Like, they'll read anything. So if 70% used to go in the trash, I bet you 50% are going in the trash now. I don't know. We can't back it up, but we're looking at is the number of calls and the number of sales we're getting off of it, and it's higher than what we had before. So, by about 10% over the course of the last 3 weeks. So I'm also, and I know other companies around the country are doing this. I know that I've talked to a couple people personally that are doing it, and I think it's a great idea. It's not my idea. I took it from somebody, so but it's worked for us. We put our door-to-door people in technician uniforms. They ride around in our older spray trucks that we're not using anymore, but they still look good and nobody knows the difference. So we kept a couple of our older trucks and just wrapped them in our new Lawn Ace wraps. And so now when somebody's going and leaving a door hanger on a door, they, if somebody walks out after the guy's walked away, somebody walks out, they're going to see a Lawn Ace truck down the road. They're going to see him walking away in a Lawn Ace uniform from Cintas, and it looks like and our marketing material tells you, and I'm happy to read it in a second, but it tells you we were down the street treating a lawn, and we wanted to kind of help you out too. So it looks like the technician just took his time to come down a few doors and try to help a neighbor out. We are changing the language a little bit starting this week. Again, this just goes to you have to make your own decision if you like it or not. I never did, but I think the time in our market is now to address it head on. So we decided to, on this order of hangers, so we order these things 10,000 at a time, and the new language the old language was similar, but we've changed it a little bit to address COVID and also to address why we're not knocking on your door. One, I think it probably makes people think higher of you, going, yeah, I didn't want to come to the door. And two, it's just part of these procedures that we have in place, we're not doing them for a PR stunt. These procedures are there to protect our people and to protect the customer or the potential customer. We don't want anybody getting sick. So there's no negative to bringing this to light. So this is what ours say, and it's got whatever little blurb on the top, a little picture, whatever. But this is the actual text to it, and it says, Lawn Ace has just provided a service to help your neighbor's lawn stay beautiful now and in the future. We normally like to stop by and see if we can help other neighbors like yourself, but we wanted to be respectful of your space during this time of social distancing. I've left some pricing below and would love to talk or text with you at your convenience. Being outside in your yard is a great, safe place to be right now, and we'd love to help you enjoy it even more. So it addresses it without addressing fear and panic and all this, and says, hey, get outside, go look at your yard, let us help you with it, So that's kind of what we've done. And again, it looks like a technician has come over. Now we do try to get our door-to-door guys kind of following one of the technicians' routes that are out there now, so people are seeing like our lawn signs in the neighborhood or somewhere close, and then they're seeing the store hanger. But again, the response has been unbelievable. I'll share with you, I just pulled, before I got on this webinar, I just pulled our sales report for this week, and right at 1/3 of them so far have come from door to door, 1/3 of our sales this week. So now again, I don't mind telling you the number. I mean, we're a small company. Some of you probably look at this and go, well, oh, that many sales, I get that many sales in an hour. But keep in mind, we just started in November, so we're still relatively small. So we're closing in on 700 customers total since November. So this week, so basically we're 2.5 days in. Well, I pulled this morning, so we're 2 days in at this point. 27 sales this week. 11 of those 27 have come from door to door, and we haven't talked to the first person on the property. So I would be encouraged by that, and encouraged to say, hey, go out and give it a try. Maybe it doesn't work in your market. I don't know. It's working very well for us. We have literally I shared this with Beth earlier. We have had 0 complaints on it, not one. I have not had one bad Facebook review, Google review. I haven't even had the first call into the office saying, why are you guys out here? You are not an essential business. I don't feel comfortable with you. Why are you knocking on my door? So we're literally going and hanging this door hanger with the price. Thankfully, we have a lot of cookie cutter neighborhoods here, so we're able to tell these guys, like we've got a sales manager out in the field who can say, so every yard in here is, $44, and every corner yard is $52. So they can go and pricing, I know, can be an issue depending on where you are in the country, but we're fortunate enough to be able to do that. So leaving the pricing is a huge help. And again, and these are not abnormal. I mean, we've been averaging at least 1/3 of our sales off door to door, and we were averaging about 25% of them on door to door before this. So I think this was almost a blessing in disguise. forcing us to just hang more door hangers versus knocking, because we went from about, like I said, 25% of our sales coming from door to door to about 30 to 33% right now. So I mean, I don't know. It's working. Now again, will it happen next year if everything's fine? You know, I don't know. Maybe people start throwing them in the trash again. But for now, the system's working, and I would encourage you not to just throw a door-to-door plan to the wayside just because you're afraid of what somebody might think or whatever. You know, again, maybe just think about tweaking it, and that's what we're all doing right now. So.
And Georgia has had a stay-at-home or stay-in-place order for how long now?
So we the state, as of last week, almost all of the counties have had them ahead of time. The state was the last to the table. The state was leaving it up to the individual counties until last week. So the counties that we serve, we've had a stay-in-place order for this is our 4th week of all of the counties that we serve having a stay-in-place order. So yeah, officially the state came out last week, but it changed nothing for us. We've already had it here.
And the governor, though, did include landscaping as an essential service right out of the gate.
He did, and he's just following DHS guidelines. So which I think is smart. I know we talked earlier about what is going on up in Michigan, and I don't know if it's going on elsewhere in the country, but now I think we've all got a responsibility to be as safe as possible. And what we're doing, what we're doing in our office, I don't think there's a safer place to be. You know, in our office, we're in the field, so we've got a responsibility to it. But no, we've been designated essential, but we're still switching up, procedures, obviously, just so we can make sure that here's the thing, sales don't mean anything if you can't produce them. So we have a big focus, and obviously I have worked with my team for a long time. I don't want anybody getting sick regardless, but yeah, you can sell all you want if you don't have technicians to go do the work, and you don't have good people in the office to answer the phones and answer the questions, it doesn't mean anything.
That's a fact. And you're working from home today, right?
I am. So yeah, I started working from home I think this is my 3rd week now. So the way we set up our office, and again, here's where I'm different. Like, we're very, and it's probably a good thing. A lot of people never want to say it's good to be small. I'm kind of glad that we just started out and we're small now, because I think this would be a lot more difficult if you've got 50 technicians versus, we have 4 right now, 3.5 kind of. I got one who's like a half a salesman and a half a technician, because we just got off the ground. So we're able to, like, our technicians, we're able to stagger their schedules. So the way we took everybody in the office and sent them home, other than 2. So my office manager and my GM are still there. She has the whole downstairs. He has the whole upstairs. They never see each other. They only communicate through call, log, and emails, phone, whatever. We do Zoom meetings still. We do one weekly Zoom meeting, and then like daily, like real quick thing. Technicians are staggered 45 minutes apart. So there's no overlap there. They have a whole, we sanitize the trucks every day, the offices every day, all that stuff. So I mean, it's now, how do you make that work with 50 technicians? It looks a lot different than that. Like, we're fortunate in that way right now that we only had to figure that part out. And there are ways. I've talked to people around the country that have large lawn care businesses that are doing it, but so for us, we were pretty fortunate that it happened now, I guess. But yeah, it is a different ball game for sure.
So you're in Augusta, Georgia, and I'm that friend that when you say, hey, if you're ever here, let me know, you can stay with us. And you regret saying that, because I said, hey, Kyle, I got Masters tickets, I'm coming. Yep. And Lynn was so sweet, and I brought my neighbors, and we crashed at your place. But it is Masters week, right? Or should have been Masters week. So tell us what the mood's like in Augusta, Georgia, now that the Masters isn't happening.
I think a lot of people for a long time knew that was coming, so we're over the shock of it now. They've actually announced the new dates for November, assuming this thing is under control by then. So it's going to happen. It's just delayed. It's not canceled. It's odd. This is the first time that I've been in Augusta because we usually leave town. Like, you know, if you live at the beach, you don't want to be there for spring break. Well, if you live in Augusta, you don't really. You probably loved it here. We don't like it here. We don't like it here, Masters Week. You wait 2 hours to go out to dinner, and it takes you 2.5 hours to drive 7 miles. So we either leave or just become hermits that week. So it's different. I haven't experienced the first week of April in Augusta in years. It might have been when you came down that year, might have been my last year, but we usually leave. But it's different, and we didn't know how that would affect the business either, because we do get a lot of business starting in March of people a lot of people, if for those that don't know, a lot of people in Augusta, rent their homes out for Masters for the week. There are not enough hotels that can accommodate the influx of people from around the world that come in. So a lot of people, we get a lot of business starting in March from people who say, hey, I've got to get the lawn cleaned up, or renting in April, So we didn't know if that would have a lot of effect on us, or if people would just get worried if they weren't coming and not pull the trigger. I think it's going to end up having the opposite effect. I think it's going to be, I was talking to a friend of mine who's in a different industry. He owns a large pressure washing company around here that, and a lot of their business comes in February and March, getting ready for April. I told him the other day, I said, I don't think you're going to miss $1 this year. In fact, I think you're going to make more, because not everybody they had booked for March canceled. A lot of people didn't. They had cancellations, but a lot didn't. A lot of people still, with this clientele, still want to take care of and with our clientele, want to take care of their home and property. Also, we're getting a Masters in the fall. So for us, I think we're going to have a second sales push this season of people who, we've already had a great season so far. And now I think we're going to start seeing in, August, September, when crabgrass is just awful here, when weeds are just popping, pre-emergence breaking down. I think we're going to have a second influx where normally we see our sales, pretty stagnant or leveled off by that point. I think we're going to be prepared this year for a second sales push going into these November Masters dates. So again, it's just, I keep going back to that. Look for the opportunity. Maybe not, I don't know, but we're just doing a lot of different things. Look at, Beth, I was telling you earlier, so one thing we did, and I know most people are not doing this anyways, we just did it from a branding standpoint, being our first year in Augusta under this new brand. We did, for example, a lot of billboards. We have 12 billboards up around town. No, we're not getting any sales off of them, but again, it's a branding thing. Well, guess who's not on the road now? 3/4 of the people. So we've cut those early. And now, but guess what people are doing? So we had a certain budget set for like Hulu, for all the OTT stuff. So like Hulu, YouTube, all the online TV platforms. We're even running commercials on like DirecTV and Comcast and some outlets like that. So we said, well, hey, why are we not like doubling down on this? We started noticing maybe a month ago. We started noticing competitors that we were seeing all their ads, and now all of a sudden 3 or 4 weeks ago, we're not seeing as many ads. They're pulling back on their ads. I never understood it. I was glad. Called our people up and said, hey, let's double down on this thing. This is what I think. People are sitting at home more, and I'm not saying they're being late. They're still having to do. A lot of people are working from home, but you and I both know you're more efficient when you work from home a lot of times. So people that were working 8 or 9 hours a day are now working 6 to 7 hours a day. So what are they doing? Doing this, So we doubled we literally doubled our social media budget. We raised our TV budget by like 35%. All of our Hulu, YouTube, all that stuff, we raised by almost 50%. And the numbers speak for themselves. People are home, they're scrolling, they're watching more YouTube. People are sending videos and memes and stuff that you have to watch the ad. And it's crazy the amount of, I shared this with you before, but we were looking at our Facebook ads. And I know everybody looks at them different and what you consider a conversion. So for us, we consider a conversion somebody who goes from a Facebook ad to our website, because that's what we can track. So we went from averaging like 7 to 8 of those a week. And again, social media was never a huge thing, and it really hasn't been for the green industry. It's not been a large lead source. So we went from 7 to 8 conversions a week, over to like last week, we were at 87. I mean,
No way.
literally 10 times. And all we've got out there now is now video is responding so much better than static ads. So we're at this point, we're for the most part pushing out video content. But we've got a mosquito, ad out there now. We've got a lawn ad out there now. And yeah, 87 clicks on the lawn ad, or conversions to the website last week on the lawn ad. I think we had 62 or 64 look for the mosquito ad, and that's still kind of early here for that. So, and that was nothing before. So again, I think there's opportunity there. We got to look at it in different ways. It's time to adjust. And literally, Beth, I think you told me earlier, you said you made the comment of like, we need to adjust daily, not monthly. We're used to looking at monthly numbers and all that stuff. I agree 100%. The amount of reports that I look at daily are unreal right now versus what they were 6 weeks ago. But I'm glad. And again, I probably should have been doing this all along. This thing, that's another opportunity, learning. I will never go back to running our business the way that I used to after this thing. I have learned so many good things going forward, from technology to just how I've gotten a little lazy in some areas, and this is forcing us not to do it. So there's just a lot of opportunity out there now. I think if you look for it, it's there, and I think there's zero reason. I shouldn't say zero. There's reason for concern. We don't know what this thing's going to do tomorrow. The whole country might shut down, but I think I think the chances of that are not enough to be like, that's not going to consume my mind. I think right now the getting's good. Let's look for the opportunity and get it. We may just be finding the opportunity in different places than we're used to.
I love what you said about Facebook, because I stepped away from social media a couple years ago for the most part. Once I was done bragging about my kids, you always have wonderful pictures of your boys and Lynn, and I love staying on Facebook to stay connected to our customers. But once, Kyle, your kids, you don't have to post a gymnastics meet or whatever, you kind of get bored with it. But now, because I'm isolated and I'm a hugger and I'm a people person, I feel isolated from my friends and family. My consumption of Facebook is exponentially higher than it's been in weeks, months, or years. And it's absolutely where I would go to check that out. That and Nextdoor. I'm on Nextdoor a lot. Do you do any advertising on the Nextdoor app?
Yeah, so we don't. It's been brought up to me a couple of times, and it's nothing we've done yet. And I can't tell you I even know enough about it to. I'm getting pushed in that direction. I think it's something that I'm going to look into, but no, we do nothing on it right now. I've heard from people in other parts of the country that they've had good success with it, and for some reason, I don't know if it's just I have no idea, just out of ignorance or whatever, we haven't looked into it yet.
Well, and I think from what I have found, geographically, there are higher adoption places and some more than others. In Indianapolis, very high adoption rate. And the only way to participate in Nextdoor is they mail you a postcard to your home that you opt in. So you are authenticating, yes, I'm a neighbor in Admirals Bay in Indianapolis. And it kind of becomes the ultimate referral network. We've known for a long time in this industry that birds of a feather flock together, and you want to know who the neighbor has for their plumbing or their roof or their lawn. And so I've been noticing that for essential services in Indiana, it's becoming very difficult. You talked about how many people were reading the leave behinds that didn't read it before, and trying to take advantage of essential services. Oh, I need a plumber. Oh, I need my concrete patio poured. And in fact, they're in short supply. But I've noticed on Nextdoor saying, can your guy come over and see me? So I would check out Nextdoor. I don't know what the adoption rate is in Augusta. I love that you said videos on Facebook, because at our solutions conference the year before last, Linda Thomas booked Marcus Sheridan. So if you don't follow him on social media, he's a guy that in 2008, when there was a recession, in 2008, I think the average swimming pool he was putting in was about $50,000. And his competitor said, you can't sell 50,000 swimming pools in a recession, $50,000 swimming pools in a recession. And he talks a lot about how everyone has one of these. It's so easy to take video. And then when I send you the thumbprint of the video, which is that image at the end, which if you're watching any of mine, my eyes are always closed and I look drunk when you send those. But when you get that in an email, you're going to see that face and you're going to be like, oh, that's the lawn guy that was at my house. And when he was selling swimming pools and he converted it to our audience a year and a half ago, talking about when you're selling lawn care, it's so much better when you're out on the lawn to say, hey, Mr. Flanagan, this is where you've had the grub damage in the back behind the barn. And we're going to be sure we get the pre-emergent down early this year and the grub X, and we'll get that down for you. And you send that to them, and it's the ultimate virtual service visit, if you will. So both from a sales perspective and from a service delivery, it's one of the new pieces of technology Real Green is working on. But I think video sells because it comes to life, and especially right now, people are looking forward to those opportunities. You talk about people being bored. I get maybe 10 or 12 telemarketing calls a day, either from Microsoft or my car warranty has expired. My phone has gone silent. I mean silent. And I always answer them. I'm in sales. I get calls from all over the world every single day. I don't turn down a phone call. But I had a call in Indianapolis about a new political candidate who had moved here from Uganda, and she's a Republican running for state Senate. And now she owns a business here. And I found myself at the end of the call saying to the telemarketer, tell me more about her. Tell me more about her business. And I thought, in a million years, I would not have began asking more of a telemarketer. But to your point, I was bored. The timing is right. I'm interested in the political landscape more so now than ever. So I think we have to take advantage of things we haven't necessarily taken advantage of because the consumers are at an all-time low for boredom. And I don't know that a lot of our customers have tapped into the Hulu and some of those digital TV markets. I am a consumer of no media except for college football, which you and I love college football. And if you think it's being canceled, just lie to me because I can't process that right now. But I think you're right. My daughter and I have watched Ozark and a couple other, we talk on our virtual happy hours at Real Green, what are you binge watching? But what a terrific place for new ads right now. Are you using video in any other ways other than Facebook?
Well, we're doing traditional TV, 30-second ads as well. So like I said, we're doing, we've got them rolled out on DirecTV and Comcast right now. So we're doing 64. So we're not doing a large amount. We're doing 64 spots a month. Again, probably for brand awareness more than anything. We're tracking all of these. We're not getting a lot of calls necessarily from the commercial itself, but we have had a lot of customers who mention it after the fact. So I mean, I know it's getting the name out. It's getting the, we're in a unique position this year. We're doing some things like that I'll probably never do again. Billboards, we'll never do them again after this year, until we go to a different market. So that's the only other place right now that those are that the actual video is running. We've looked at some other unique things. Don't know how we're not there yet on them. One thing I'd like to do down the road is we'd like to attach a short little video to each estimate we do. Just explaining, like you say, you just said, hey, somebody loves to see you on their yard. Just makes it so much more personal. And we're not, I mean, even before COVID, most people aren't home. We're doing most of our estimates on the phone anyways. But if we still have 15-20% of people who want you on the yard, and then you're setting up meetings and all this stuff, we're looking into ways where we can just say, hey, we'll come out on the yard, let us know what your concerns are, we'll shoot a little video, send it with your estimate with you, just to say. And I've got a friend in a different industry who does that and has had really good success with it. We haven't quite figured out how to put that into best practice yet, but I think that could be another game changer, big big time saver. And again, just one less, one less, not that I hate to sound like I'm against personal contact, but as we've all found, like with one-step sales, people don't really want it. People, even a lot of the people that want you out, quote, come out on the yard, and it's because there's a problem. They want you to explain to them. But if you can find a virtual way to explain that to them, I think it's a win for everybody, and I think they like it better, because I don't think people like to. Yeah, I'll meet you home at 4 o'clock. They've got to leave work early and plan their day around you and all this. Well, hey, we're actually and nobody around us does it. Very few people in the country probably do it. Where we say, hey, oh, you got a problem under those oak trees in the back? I'll tell you what, we'll send a manager out. We'll shoot you a little video about what we'll shoot you a little video to your email about what we think, and, address the issues. And then you can call us with some questions. I think people would love it. So
they want solutions, they want answers, and they want one other thing, and you're one of the few guys I know that does this. They want a price. So we've been so guarded in this industry of, well, in fact, I've seen some of the bigger lawn care chains that have introduced chat bots. You can have a conversation. They'll know exactly that you have 10,200 square feet, but they won't serve you up a price. And Marcus Sheridan talks about this too. They want to know what you offer, and they want to know the price. And I've had our customers or friends in the industry say, well, I don't want our competitors to know. If your competitor wants to know, they've already called and they already know what you're charging for 10,000 square feet. Do you think that aids in closing the sale, playing that pricing card up front?
100%. We've got it on our website. Well, it was funny. You and I were talking about this earlier, and I know you've done this. I know when you were with Scotts, you've done this. Scotts didn't treat your, correct me if I'm wrong, Scotts didn't treat your lawn back in the day. You had a competitor treating your lawn.
I did, because I wanted to see what the competitor did. Yeah.
That's right.
And that's still true today. I hire different people all the time.
And we do the same. So all of my core team in my office, so my office manager, GM, and sales manager, and myself all hire 4 different companies, the biggest 4 competitors here. And it not only gives us, pricing, we're also similar anyways. That's not a big secret, but just to see what kind of upsells they're doing, to see what kind of campaigns they're doing at different times in the season, to see what software they're running. One of them runs yours. So it helps us to know, and they're doing the same thing. There's nothing wrong with it. They're all doing the same thing. And if they're not, they should be. So I just, the pricing's not a secret. And to me, if you've got an offer out there, or if you've got pricing that's competitive, I don't see a reason to be, again, they're going to know it anyways. We put it on the website to tell people right off the bat. I was looking at something yesterday. Somebody had posted on one of these local pages where I said, hey, I'm looking for I'm looking for, weed control fertilizer service in the Evans, Georgia area, any recommendations? And people were like, call this place, call that place, call this place. And, one of my people reached out to them and said, like, their name's on there. You go on the GIS, you find out where they live. One of my people reached out to them and said, hey, here's the pricing. Because they even said they wanted weed control and fire ant. Easy. So we go on there. There were, I think, 10 people that had commented, this company, that company, that company. Somebody had commented us, which is how we saw it. And we reached out to them with pricing. They sold in 90 seconds. It was, I looked at the time, it was under 2 minutes.
Wow. That's
we're the first ones to reach out with pricing.
And if that consumer is looking for a $19 deal, you're not their provider anyway.
No, 100%. We always tell people, I think and the ones that are after that deal, that's fine. We usually get an influx of those people in June anyways. They'll go with the cheap provider in March, and by June, they're so fed up, then they come back. So again, we'd love to get all the business up front. We're just not, people don't like to think this, but we're not for everybody. We want the people who care about the lawn, who are willing to pay. Now, look, we're not out of the ballpark. We're within dollars of every major competitor here. So again, if somebody really wants to go with that cheaper competitor that's not going to provide the results to save $4, that's okay. We're not going to sweat it. We think one of two things is going to happen. They're going to go with them and be happy, or more than likely go with them and not be happy. And we'll see that call in June or July or whenever the time comes. So no, we don't. One thing we've been careful of over all the years is we don't lessen or cheapen the brand. That's just not who we are.
That's good. So what is a GIS?
Yeah, so we just go on like the county GIS or tax records to be able to,
Okay.
so like in this case, it doesn't always work in that case because you could have Mark Smith and there might be 50
Sure.
Mark Smiths, but
it might
usually usually we can kind of get close. We knew this person was in Evans, Georgia, and we knew their name, so we were able to go on there proactively, and there was only one person with that name in Evans, Georgia. So, and again, that doesn't happen a lot. For the most part, when we're doing stuff online like that, these one-step sales, these are leads that have already come in where people have provided addresses. The only time we proactively go on to a GIS site and try to find someone before they reach out is in that case where people are just force feeding them a ton of information. Call this company, call that company, because I know. So I was looking for someone to build a play set in my backyard this week, because the kids are going stir crazy and I don't have a play set, and I didn't want a play set because I like my grass. But Lynn has finally convinced me that she is with these kids 24/7. They need a play set. So anyways, I did what I hate doing, and I posted on Facebook to my communities page, said, hey, has anybody had a custom play set built? Who would you recommend? Unbelievable. Call this person, call that person. The first two people I called, they were like, we don't do that. We don't do that. So I'm having to like weed through these people. And that's the same thing. I even noticed that. So on Facebook, where people ask for these recommendations, people go, well, call Mark's Lawn Care. Well, Mark mows grass. He doesn't treat grass. And you don't know that. So now these people are calling companies who don't even do the service that they want. So that's why we try to chime in when somebody tags us like that and be proactive and go ahead and give price and say, hey, we actually offer that service. Here's the price, and we'd love to talk to you more about it. And again, that's not a huge sales source for us because that doesn't happen. It might happen 2 or 3 times a week, maybe.
Sure.
But the ones that come in, they sell because these people don't want to. I think I know Joe said this one time because I remember the story, and I've told this story so many times to my team. I remember I think he was talking about his house in South Carolina at the lake.
You're talking about Joe Cusick, right?
About his air conditioner?
No, I haven't heard this story, Joe Cusick. So go ahead, tell it.
Yeah. So I remember him telling the story about that. I think they were at the lake house, and it was in the summer, and the AC went out. And he said, I called, company A and company B or whatever, and like A was gonna, I'm butchering the story, but like A said, yeah, we'll have somebody call you back. They called the second one. They said, yep, we can get somebody out. We can get somebody out tomorrow to take a look at it and fix it for you. And they called company C, and they go, hey, we can have somebody out here today. They did. They gave him a price on it. He didn't care about the price. What he didn't want to do is call 10 companies, figure out if they could fix it, hope that somebody got back to him. They said, hey, he goes, I could have paid double. I don't know. He said, I don't know. I wasn't price shopping it. Like, I knew it was summer and I wanted my AC fixed. And the first company that said, I can come out and I can do it, that's who I hired. I think that's a lot of, a lot of us are not we're not the Walmart of the green industry. There's a place for that. But a lot of us have our clientele are the people for the most part who say, look, I've got a problem. It's weeds, it's mosquitoes, it's, you name it. I've got a problem and I need a solution to it, and I don't have time to deal with it. So we're just trying to be the first one to them with a solution. The solution being, this is what we can do and this is what we charge to do it. Would you like it? Yes.
That's awesome. Have you participated in the SBA loan process or the payroll protection program? And if so, tell us what that process was like, and what do you expect to do with any potential funds that come your way?
Yes, so we've applied for both the SBA loan portion. Again, we have had no we have had no actual damage yet from this, but none of us have any clue where the fallout's going to be. And I've had my accountant, and I think most of them will tell you, you need to, even the local SBA office here reached out to me. I have an ongoing relationship with our local rep. I've got a SBA banker I deal with here that we have worked together for the past 10 years or so. And then I also have an ongoing relationship with the University of Georgia Small Business Development Center, who actually reached out to me as well and said, hey, are you applying for this? And if not, you need to. And the answer is not, well, we haven't seen, because look, our sales numbers are up, our revenue's up. So the thinking would be, well, I don't need this. You have no idea what you need. We have no idea what's coming a month from now, and we have no idea when the money's going to run out of the program. So their thinking, and I'm in agreement on it, is if you can apply for it and if you can get it, you take it. It is extremely low interest. You will never see an interest rate like that on a business loan of any type, nor will you see the terms that they've put out now. So we applied for the initial SBA loan, and then on top of it, the payroll protection loans. Both were, so my understanding, the SBA loan process, which is not the forgivable loan. This is the long-term, low interest. At the moment, I know they're changing it all the time. At the moment, my understanding is 3.75 on the interest for up to 30 years. So to me, if somebody offers you 3.75 for 30, you take it. I know there are stipulations as to how you can spend it, but we would certainly spend it on that, payroll, rent, utilities, things like that. So we applied for that. When we applied, I applied for it the day it went live. And it took about 2.5 hours as a process. We uploaded all kinds of documents, and I signed my life away on stuff, like whatever, but it was a process. Now, my understanding is, and I've gone back on to see it, so unless it's changed, they have a very, very condensed version of it now, which takes about 15 minutes to apply for. Now, my thought is all of the stuff that I've gone through that I had to upload and go pull all these old records and tax returns and stuff from Secretary of State and all this stuff. I don't imagine they're not still going to want that. So I think wherever you are in line, at a certain point, they're going to come to you and say, well, hey, okay, all these documents that Kyle has already uploaded, now we need them from you. I think they're just allowing you very quickly to get in line now, to grab your place in line. So if you haven't, I would highly recommend it. Again, I actually walked a friend of mine through it, and it literally took him 15 minutes, what took me like 2.5 hours. Now, again, you're going to have to take 2.5 hours eventually, probably, but who cares? At least it gets your place in line, because who knows when the money's going to run out. You talked about Katie Clark. She and I had a conversation yesterday or 2 days ago about Payroll Protection Act. She said, I strongly feel like it will run out of money. It's not a question of if. So that just is something you have to get in line for. So we did that. That was not as long of a process. I think that took an hour or so. We had it depends how good your record keeping is, and thankfully I've got a really good accountant and payroll company. So it wasn't obviously, as the name says, it's payroll protection. You have to pull different reports, 12 months of payroll, your 941s, or different if you're an independent contractor. There's just a lot of payroll type reports you have to pull and upload. But it wasn't bad. It was time consuming, but it wasn't difficult whatsoever. I'm no genius, and I did it myself. You can also, a lot of CPAs are doing it for their clients. The only problem is they're so backed up. I like for my CPA to do anything he can, because that's just his expertise and not mine. But when I called him about it, he said, I'm absolutely happy to do it for you, Kyle. And I called him early on. I'm happy to do it for you. I literally have 42 people in line right now, so it's not going to get done today. And I was like, nope, I want to get in line. Like, I'd already talked to Katie. I knew that money wasn't going to be there forever. I said, no, let me get in line. And I needed a handful of reports that his office was able to get me pretty quick, but I was able to do it myself. So we're going to try to take advantage of both of those. The big thing with the Payroll Protection Act is, as Katie was saying, that is still fluid right now. So we don't know we don't know how it's all going to shake out or what we know kind of the gist of it, what we're going to be able to use it on. But let's say, like the thing that she brought up, let's say, we get $125,000 from it, but over the course of those 8 weeks, we're only able to spend 75,000 of it. So, what are we doing? And again, it's changing. So like, are we able to keep the other 50, but that's not forgivable and it's just a low interest loan? And again, and if so, then great, because that's currently at 1%. 1%. I'll take it all day long.
That's free money.
Or are you going to have to pay it back? Are you going to have to pay it back with penalty? Do you just ramp up your do I just go and get 20 people to go door to door? If I have to spend the money, do I go get 20 people out there because it's in essence all forgivable? I don't know. There's a lot of things up in the air, but again, I see zero reason not to apply for it. It literally costs you nothing but your time. And as they figure, trust me, before they give you any money, they're going to have it figured out. So you're not going to go into it blind.
True. Very good. Well, I can't thank you enough for your time today. I know you're busy trying to keep the wheels going there, and you do a terrific job. I value our friendship. I always look to you for creative solutions, and you didn't disappoint this time. I know the rest of the industry appreciates your insights, and we at Real Green appreciate you being our customer.
Well, it's a two-way street, and I can tell you that. I think I tell you that every time we get together. I mean, the amount of the amount of value and help that you've provided to me over the years has just been phenomenal, and your whole team. I mean, but you and I personally, I know, go way back, and I can't thank you for all the help over the years. There's no way we could be doing what we're doing without you and with our team. So I really appreciate it. And I keep meaning to tell you, but I like the glasses. I like those a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not a professional broadcaster. You will find no photos of me other than like 2 on the internet because I don't like to have my picture taken. Linda Thomas, our marketing director, has photographed me multiple times for different things, and I've had an aversion to it my whole life. But we're at a time now where I'm just glad to see friends any way I can. But I wear my glasses most of the time. What are you and Lynn and the boys doing for fun or just to keep yourselves from going crazy?
Yeah, well, thankfully it's been nice here for the past few weeks. I mean, we've been like in the 70s, like mid to high 70s, so it's been really nice. And we've got we're right here on the river, so I actually got Keegan out on the kayak for the first time in his life.
Fun.
We've got a neighbor down here. Their boys out crew there, so they gave us one of their old kids kayaks. So I got him out there last week, so that was really cool. We're doing a ton of bike rides and stuff. I've been it's funny, this window that you see in my background. I have Colton, who is almost 2 now. He wears his helmet everywhere, like his bike helmet. And every now and then I just hear something, and it's like him outside the window, just like knocking on the window with his bike helmet. So it's funny, and I'm like, okay, I want to go hang out with you now. So it's kind of motivated me. I'm getting up earlier. I'm getting work knocked out, and then I'm able to take I just so I don't go stir crazy. I take I'm so as you are, like you're so used to interacting with people all day that when you're at home, and I love my family, I like my house, but it closes in on you. So I've had to kind of take strategic breaks every 2 or 3 hours throughout the day, or even if I have like 2 or 3 calls to make, I'll pop in the AirPods and I'll go walk and make the calls instead of sitting in the office like normal. I've just gotta, when you don't have, it's funny how often, you talk about you're more productive at home. Well, I know why. It's because like every couple hours I'm over in like Tammy's office, or I'm out talking to somebody, or a vendor stops by or something, and you don't have that. So it's like, yeah, you're more productive, but I don't know, like you're a people person. I like being around people. So I love Zoom calls and stuff like this now, because like I used to hate them because I'm like, I'd rather just be in person. Now I'm like, thank God I can see your face,
I'll take what I can get. Yeah. Well, tell Lynn I said hello, and I appreciate your insights, and keep us posted how everything's going in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, I will. I really appreciate it, Beth.
All right. Stay safe. We'll see you, Kyle.
You too. I'll see you later.